Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is Pastor David, and I'm coming to you from the Community Church of Mount Pleasant at our new campus. Now, most of you know, you've been following our story. This campus is not new, but it is new to us. This campus has been here a long time. In fact, many of you who may be watching this, this is not new to you at all. Some of you went to school here. Some of you were teachers here. Some of you worked here. Many of you, your children or grandchildren went here. Many of you played or had people that played out here on the ball fields. Tonight, this very night, there is ball practice going on out here on the football field. A couple hundred kids, maybe more, cheerleaders, players, and the concession stand is open, by the way, on Monday and Tuesday nights. If you want to come for supper, come eat at the concession stand. We got some good concession stand food, hamburgers, hot dogs, all chicken nuggets, and all kind of good things. So things are just wide open here at the Community Church of Mount Pleasant. I want to just give you just a couple of highlights of things that are coming up. This Sunday will be the Book of Acts, Part 3, the early church. This Sunday, we're going to get real practical this Sunday. I really want you to come and be with us at 9:30 or 11 at the mill. If you can't come, I want you to watch, because it's going to be about the ministry of the early church. And it's going to be a real parallel with where we are right now. And it's just, it's uncommon how it parallels the book of Acts that we're studying right now. So I want you to come. If you can come Sunday, then we'll have part 4. Then we will have the last Sunday at the mill on October 30, and that's going to be a sweet time. Hope you can make that. A lot of our church has come here since then. And then we'll move into the first Sunday here at this campus on November 6th, and then we'll move into the holidays, and it's going to be a great fall and a great Christmas time, Thanksgiving, Christmas. So so many good things. We had a great time this week, Monday night at Some Men. I love it when these men gather together to pray, and that's a lot of the success of our church. When men get together, they take the time and the effort, and they pray, and we talk, and we laugh, and we just share. And so I'm excited. And this week, the men will be at the beach on our men's fall retreat. And I just already know that God is going to do some special things. I can just feel already God working. And so anyway, just a lot of good things going on. And I wonder, do you see my friend? Have you met my friend? This is my friend Tony. Tony is a tiger. Now, it fits because this school is the Mount Pleasant Tigers, and people who grew up in this part of the country, they know all about the tiger. And there was some concern about the tiger when we bought this place, that he might go away. But the tiger is, the neat thing about this guy, the Historical Society, which is in town, they have a little museum and all that. Well, they had this guy, so they thought, well, we need to give him to the church, because they're kind of restoring the campus, and so he ended up here. So this is my friend, the tiger. He's a fierce-looking guy, but me and him are getting acquainted, and I'm not sure yet where we're going to put him. If you have any ideas, let me know. But we're going to keep Tiger around, clean him up a little bit, and he's had a rough life, but he's still good and going strong. So anyway, let me give you a little devotional today. There's a verse in the book of Acts, as we've kind of been in Acts. This Sunday we'll be in Acts chapter 6. But today I want to be in Acts chapter 5. This one verse leaped out at me as I was studying the book of Acts. And as the early church was birthed and it began to grow, and it accelerated in growth, and then all of these things started happening fast. And again, that's why I say it's not unlike our church here in Mount Pleasant. So here's the verse that jumped out at me, and then I want to just give you a little background, and then we'll wrap it up today. Acts chapter 5, verse 29. Listen to this verse. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men. Now, you know, I always tell you that you need to get the full context and not just one verse. So I want to tell you a little bit about this verse. Peter and John and the apostles were here, and they were being witnesses. Now let me explain that. What does a witness do? A witness tells what he has seen. So they were telling the story of Jesus, the Messiah, who came, and they were telling his story about the miracles and his death and burial and resurrection and the gospel, which we talked about Sunday. And so the angel of the Lord, this is earlier in the chapter, came and told them, he said, go speak in the temple to the people all the words of Jesus. Go tell your story in the temple. This is the public place. And the established leaders did not like that. See, because they like to have, this story of Jesus was messing up their religion. Folks, I want to tell you, religion is not the answer. Religion is a bunch of rules that men came up with. The gospel is God's laws and God's man Jesus. And the religion will send you to hell, to be honest with you. The gospel will take you to heaven. So they got in trouble. And so they came and they arrested them. And it said, did not we tell you that you should not teach this? Don't you be telling people about Jesus. Don't you do it. And that's where we end up at verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles said, we ought always obey God rather than you. We respect you as leaders. We are compliant until you tell us to do something that God told us to do different. And so they got in trouble for doing the right thing. I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes me and you might get in trouble for doing the right thing. But you know what? Would you rather obey God or a bunch of men who come up with a bunch of rules? I'm going to tell you, folks, you better get on the right side of that. And so, and let me just close by telling you how it ends. So we are his witnesses of these things about Jesus. We're eyewitnesses about Jesus. And so here's what happens in verse 33. When they heard that, these leaders, the religious leaders, the ones they had them arrested, when they heard the apostles tell the truth about Jesus, they were cut to the heart. And they took counsel to slay them. You know what happened to those religious leaders? They got convicted, bitterly convicted in their hearts, because they knew that Jesus was right and they were wrong. And it really went past conviction. They were enraged because the apostles messed up their deal. The apostles told the truth. And I love Peter's answer. They said, we told y'all to not talk about Jesus. And Peter said, I'm sorry. I got to obey God rather than you. And I can imagine how mad they must have been. So I think the moral of the story is, folks, sometimes people may expect you to do certain things. When you know God wants you to do something, just obey God. Now, when you do that, you might get in trouble. But it's okay, because God is going to take care of it. God's keeping score, and it's all going to come out okay. Being a Christian, living for Jesus may get you in trouble someday. It's not easy, but you ought to obey God rather than men. Thank y'all for joining me today. We got another little message for you on Friday. I hope you can come to church Sunday. We love you, and I hope I'll see you real soon.